Vinyl Community Jeff here, coming to you with some exciting news, at least exciting to me and everybody who loves this band as much as me. This is one of the bands that came about in the 90s that kind of kept me alive in music while music in the 90s was changing to some dreary, dark, alternative, strange, odd stuff. This is one of those bands that kept things going, not so much in the 80s style, but just in a style of music that, that I it did peace to me. And this is one of my favorite bands that existed through the 90s. And they just had a couple more albums released, first time on vinyl. And it's exciting that these came in. And I'm talking about the Galactic Cowboys. So, Texas band, very much along, in the early days, they were produced and managed. I mean, there was a lot of connections with them and King's X. Sound wise, a little bit similar, only because of some of the production in the early days. But if you're looking for that funky, lots of harmonies, lots of quirkiness, heaviness at times, and you don't know about Galactic Cowboys, I really encourage you to check them out. They've been around since the 90s, and though they've been on break for a while, they came back in 2017 and released an album, a reunion album, and they got a new album that they're working on right now that the Kickstarter just ended on. But anyway, these releases are back to their mid-90s stuff. So there was three of them. They've got the horse that Bud bought, and it's on Lunar Orange. Let me show you the colors. It's beautiful. All of these are double record sets because, of course, in the 90s, bands were maxing out the CDs, as much music as they could get. So now to do them on vinyl, they got to put them on two discs. So you can see the artwork there, and then similar artwork. All the artwork on these is done by their bass player, Monty Colvin. He sells this type of artwork too. Gatefold, got the band members there. Anyway, fun, great stuff. That is their 97 album. This is their 98 album. And this is At the End of the Day. Again, with these, I'm going to show you real briefly. This one's on red. Again, 2-record set. Right sticker there. Look at this. Again, similar artwork styling from Monty. They don't drastically change sound-wise, so they got a lot of the same similar things. Let It Go is their 2000 release. This is basically the end, as far as we knew. This is when the band kind of stopped. Now, these albums were on Metal Blade, which is why they are getting reissued now. Their first two albums, let me get into this first. These are limited run vinyl, so there's not a ton of these put out. So if you want them, you better grab them. The thing neat about this one is the original cover for this was not one of this. This is not the original cover from Monty Colvin. This is a reproduction of the original. It did have a kid with a balloon, but it was not one of his paintings. It was a more realistic looking picture, though still cartoonish. And so when they put the reissue out on vinyl, look at that. Got the updated. Looks like the others with Monty, from Monty's artwork. So again, we've got great stuff. So so these are added to my collection, which includes, this is the first one that they released on vinyl a couple years ago. This is another reissue. This is another, it's on double disc. And this is their first album on Metal Blade. 1996, they switched from Geffen to Metal Blade. None of these were on vinyl in the day. So now we have all Metal Blade releases on vinyl. Now, the album that the band got back in 2017 and released A Long Way Back to the Moon. Again, look at that Monty Colvin artwork. So this has been out since 2017, and it was on vinyl also. The only ones we're missing are the first two albums from 91 and 93. 91 and 93 albums were on Geffen Records, so it's really hard to get the licensing rights to do those. The first album was released on vinyl, but only in Europe. So as far as I know, there's no U.S. release. It's only a European release. I was able to track down one years ago. Absolutely one of my favorite albums. Second album, Space in Your Face. It is probably, it'd be a fight between those two as to which is my favorite. That, to my knowledge, has never been on vinyl. So obviously, These being reissued, we'd love to see the first two reissued. This is like a flimsy cover, like the European things. So it'd be nice to get a 180-gram repress of the first two, but licensing through Geffen is tougher than licensing through Metal Blade. So right now we've got all the Metal Blade catalog plus the new album, and then there's a new one that's coming out in the next few months. They're still in the process of recording it, and maybe one day we'll see these two. If you're not familiar with Geffen, with Galactic Cowboys, I encourage you to check them out. I would say start with these because while they did change a little on the Metal Blade years, these first two are just like near perfect. All their stuff is great, quirky. The lyrics are metaphors and plays just kind of quirkiness at times. But these first two albums, I think, would be a great place to, just the harmonies. There's a lot of the melodies and harmonies go, and it goes from kind of grungy feeling to kind of doomy feeling. I mean, just they're all over the place. But all their albums are great. These first two, absolutely my favorites, even to this day, and I love them all. But that's it. Check them out. They just got released in the past couple of weeks, and they're not going to be around too terribly long. So jump on this if you want to get them and pick them up for sure. They are released on their own Brutal Planet Records, limited run vinyl. You can go get them from boonsoverstock.com, and they'll be available there at least until they're gone. That's it for this one, though. Thanks a lot for watching. Rock on and rock hard.